What's good, YouTube? We're back in another video, and today we're going to talk about the acquisition that the Lakers just made to get Deandre Ayton. And I don't know what Rob Pelinka was doing. I think he was in Cancun the past few days. He still hasn't been able to get into contact with the new owners. They've been trying to ring him up. He didn't even know free agency started, from what the looks of it is. The only other signing he made was LaRavia, which I think he just let that out to the intern because that signing was going to be able to be done regardless. Whether they lost Dorian Finney-Smith or not, the Lakers have been in such a weird position in free agency. We expected a lot more moves than actually happened, and this was the last desperation move because every other center was signed already. If they didn't get Deandre Ayton, if he decided to go to the Pacers instead, the Lakers would have been cooked. But they managed to do it. Deandre Ayton is officially a Laker, and we're going to talk about what this means for the Lakers, what this means in the long run too, what direction are they really trying to go in? Do they feel as if they're championship level team right now? What's Lebrons Future going to look like for this team? Because we know one thing about Bron is he don't just compete for fun. He wants to win championships. So we're going to talk about all that. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. It's important that we discuss Deandre Ayton's stats from last year. He averaged 14 points per game, 10 rebounds, and just 1 assist. Now, Deandre Ayton has never been much of a passer, so we can't really, shade on him too much for that. But at his length, him only having 1 block a game, it's not anything that really jumps off the board. He's not the best defensive player. The big thing that really just catches my eye, and I'm like, bro, what? He only gets 1 free throw per game. 1? What are you doing in the paint? Just like how are all your shots just coming from wide open layups? At this point, there's no way you are that big and that all your points are pretty much generated around like the 6 foot to anything closer range, and you only average 1 free throw per game. Bro, give this guy an offseason with SGA, bro. Give him an offseason with Chris Paul because he needs... Wait a minute, he had Chris Paul on his team for 3 years. You still ain't learned how to draw a foul? Bro, that is crazy. 1 free throw per game from a big man is just unacceptable, and that's what he averaged last season. The Lakers are going to need him to be more aggressive, and we've been talking about Deandre Ayton being more aggressive for years at this point, but we have seen glimpses of it. We've seen Deandre Ayton average 18 points per game at some point. We've seen him average 12 rebounds per game in the playoffs when he was with the Phoenix Suns. The thing is, can he do that now? And I think if there's ever been a point where you're going to see this production from Ayton, it's with Luka Doncic. Because what does Luka Doncic do? He makes centers look so much better than they already are. He needs a center with obviously a good base, such as a Derek Lively, but he's going to make Derek Lively look like an absolute offensive machine. Why? Because of that lob presence that Luka Doncic just loves. You saw that with the Mavericks. This team, I expected to be very similar to the Mavericks. They got to take LaRavia, and the reason why was because they needed a good shooter, 3-and-D guy. He just came off averaging 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Nothing special, right? The thing that is special, though, is he shot 38% from the field and 44% from the field. That is great numbers, and they need a type of guy who's just going to be able to go and stretch the perimeter, especially with this team that really just lacks shooting. And with them losing Dorian Finney-Smith, they really needed that guy who's going to be able to recover and pretty much take over the role that which he had, which was 3-and-D. But they really weren't supposed to lose Dorian Finney-Smith in the first place. I'm a Rockets fan, and honestly, bro, the Rockets have just been clapping the Lakers the entirety of the offseason. They took Clint Capella from him, they took Dorian Finney-Smith from him, and now you're stuck here with Deandre Ayton and LaRavia, which are solid pickups. However, you would have obviously loved to have Dorian Finney-Smith still on this team. That was a bit of a shocker when he left. But what's the bottom line here? They're a better team than they were just a few weeks ago because obviously Jackson Hayes is much, much less of a good player than Deandre Ayton, and Deandre Ayton is overall just an upgrade at the center position, which they have been desperately lacking in ever since the losing of Anthony Davis. You saw they tried to get Mark Williams. That didn't go through, and now here it is. I think that this is a better pickup than Mark Williams was in the first place. But what does this really mean for LeBron, though? Because we have seen Bron time in and time out say, hey, I only want to be on a team if they're going to win a championship. And recently there's been a ton of rumors talking about teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Maybe LeBron goes back there for a reunion. We've been hearing some other rumors about the Mavericks trying to make a push and try to get Bron. I think all this is really unlikely. But what I don't think is unlikely is a LeBron trade request coming because, let's be real here, the ceiling of this team is not an NBA championship. In the Western Conference, where there's the Oklahoma City Thunder, there's the Houston Rockets, and the Mavericks, the Denver Nuggets, there's just so stacked. You see the San Antonio Spurs are going to start competing soon. They still have the Warriors around. All these teams seem to be in a better position than the Los Angeles Lakers at the moment. And we've already seen Rob Pelinka and others talk about how, 2027 is going to be the year where we're really going to zone in on landing another star. when you literally have LeBron James on your team? What do you mean landing another star? Like what are you talking about? You're gonna wait till 2027? Bron's gonna be well gone by then, probably retiring, and then you're gonna try to star chase and build a team around Luka? The Lakers need to remember, Luka is due for a contract extension, and if he doesn't like his situation in LA, he might just bounce, and next thing you know, you destroyed your team, and Nico Harrison essentially won the trade. So the Lakers, they really just need to decide, okay, well, if we're not going to win a championship now, we should probably look to trade LeBron, because other teams are going to be able to give up at least some sort of assets for the best player ever. For even if it's a one-year rental, even if he's 40 years old, he's still a top 10 player in the NBA. We should try to maybe get some assets out of that. And then retool and try to target other free agents, because in 2027, we're going to be seeing Giannis be a free agent. If he decides to leave or not, that's up to him. But 2027 is when his contract ends. You're going to see Nikola Jokic be a free agent. Maybe we see the teaming up of Luka and Jokic down the line. You're going to be seeing Donovan Mitchell be a free agent. Maybe that's the direction that the Lakers are trying to go to try and get that 1-2 punch in the backcourt. But what you can't do is just sit around with LeBron and Luka right now and say, yeah, we got Deandre Ayton, successful offseason. You got to try to at least add some more type of depth, because that's what this team is seriously lacking. Maybe try to flip Reeves for someone else, maybe 2 or 3 glue guys that could really be able to be in that offense. Maybe try to get Derek White in an Austin Reeves swap, maybe something like that. Just throwing ridiculous things out there, but they need to make those type of crazy moves in order to please Luka, maybe get this team to be a championship fringe contender, maybe even a championship contender. Because when you have Luka for just a few years, you got to make him happy enough to sign that contract extension. My fault, yo. I'm gonna cut that out the video. But yeah, so if you're the Lakers, you have to please Luka enough to be able to sign that contract extension, and you have to figure out what you're gonna do with LeBron. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers and Bron decided to part ways by the end of this offseason. It wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world to me, especially with the rumors coming up recently. I don't know. It's a really weird situation going on in LA. I don't think this team has the potential to win a championship, but then again, it's LA. They were just a 50-win team, a 3rd seed. They didn't play like a 3rd seed in the playoffs, though, so we'll see how that goes with them. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be making videos every single step of the offseason. Eventually, I'm going to make a series going over every single team that there is, so if you are interested in that, if you have any other video ideas for me, let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Take care.